Hello, Lyssa here. Today on challenging conversations you might be having with your coaching clients, the issue of lack of accountability shows up for a lot of coaches. This is when your client, you already know this, but this is when your client maybe is not following through on actions. They're not doing their homework. They seem to not have a really strong commitment to what they say is important to them, or there may even be a perception as from you as the coach that they don't really want to change. Like they're saying they want to change, but they're not doing anything to actually change. And I really am going to sum this all up together in one idea of a lack of commitment and accountability to their own stated goal. And this is a challenging conversation for a lot of coaches. But part of the reason this is a challenging conversation for a lot of coaches is because a lot of coaches come into coaching with this idea of solving a problem. And if I'm in the mindset of, I need to solve your problem, you've come to me with a goal, whatever the goal is, let's just say maybe it's lose weight. As the coach, if my mindset is to solve the problem, all of my questions and all of my focus and all of my behaviors are going to be driven towards solving the problem of weight, whatever that is. And this sets up a scenario in the coaching where the coach is not in partnership with the client, but rather the coach is driving the client towards conclusions. They're driving them towards the appropriate actions. They're doing a lot of this, trying to get the client's awareness to be around what they need to do in order to lose weight. And there's nothing wrong with that per se, except for that does not create sustainable changes. What creates sustainable changes is if we shift our mindset. And a coaching mindset is really going to be one of curiosity on behalf of the client. So here's the stated goal of losing weight. And as the coach, if what I'm doing then is being curious about what's below the waterline. Above the waterline of this particular iceberg are the behaviors and actions and outcomes of the weight issue. Not maybe it's not exercising, maybe it's eating too much sugar, maybe it is, eating when you don't feel happy. It could be anything. And the obvious conclusion is either the scale doesn't budge or you gain weight. If we start to get below the surface and the coach is really shifting their attention to below that waterline, the questions become more about what pattern is showing up when you don't hold yourself accountable to getting off the couch and taking an action, dancing, going for a walk, eating differently, whatever the actions might be. And so we want to be, as coaches, focusing to the below the waterline curiosities. So accountability shows up like this. If I'm driving towards a solution and by the end of this, I'm trying to get you to see the benefit of walking or the benefit of eating less sugar or the benefit of whatever it is that I think that you need to get, I'm going to be telling you what you might do. And there are a lot of coaches who give homework and they say, okay, so what you need to do between now and the next session is, do you want to go for a walk? Okay, how many times are you going to go for a walk? And how are you going to hold yourself accountable to make sure that you're walking? Oh, you're going to text me? Great. Okay, so text me every day when you've gone for your walk. And what they find is all of these things don't actually tend to work for very long, if at all. And the client just sort of drifts off and isn't then going for their walk. They're not texting. They're not doing all kinds of things. And so again, shifting back to what is the role of the coach? So my role as the coach is to ask questions about, let's be curious about what's below the waterline. And then out of this conversation that we had driving towards this idea or goal of weight loss, what is your awareness really perking up around? And the client may say something to the effect of, this resistance that I'm feeling to getting off the couch. Excellent. What actions would support you in really exploring this resistance, or what do you need to do with this resistance? And the client may say, I really need to just push through the resistance. What would pushing through the resistance look like? It would look like I leave my house, I put on some sneakers, and I leave my house and walk around the block once a day. That's all I have to do. I actually just have to walk out to my sidewalk once a day. And once I get to my sidewalk, I tend to walk around the block. Excellent. Or the client may say, I need to journal about this resistance because it's like really coming up strong in my heart. And it's, it's a fear of something. Excellent. What would that look like? I need to journal. So how will you do that? Well, I think I need to just I need to write whatever it is I need to write about this. Excellent. So the client is coming up with their own homework. We have a lot less resistance as human beings to the homework we assign ourselves versus the homework that is assigned to us by others. It also is a way from a neuroscience perspective. If I'm coming up with the homework that makes sense to me for what I'm capable of and what I say my goal is, the homework then matches. It makes sense in my mind to what my stated goal is. If you come up with homework for me, there may be a disconnect in my brain about the connection between the homework and my stated outcome. Like I may logically get it, but I may not have the felt experience of it. It may not be where my brain needs to go in regard to what I say is important to me. So a lot of these accountability issues can be addressed by the coach staying in the coaching role of curiosity, going below the waterline, and having the client name their homework. And in fact, I had a client not that long ago say to me in the discovery session, so what is your thinking about homework? I've had several coaches and they've all given me homework and I'm curious what your philosophy on homework is. And I started laughing and I said, I never give homework. I don't even believe in giving homework and I haven't done it for over 20 years because it does not sustainably work. Giving homework is ridiculous. So then how do you make sure I meet my goal? Really valid question. Oh, I didn't say you wouldn't leave with homework. I said I would not be giving you the homework. Huge distinction. Every session that we have, you will come up with the actions that you feel support the direction you need to be going. And maybe you're a person who needs a 1% baby step towards whatever that is. You're going to name what that 1% is. Maybe you're a person who really wants to go full bore into it. You may come up with 5 or 6 things that you feel would be really helpful for you to explore in this week or 2 weeks between sessions, and that'll be on you. My job is to help you discover that. That's part of the coaching co-creating process, is that the client is leading us in the areas of what they want to be accountable to, i.e. homework, and how they then want to be accountable. And so after the client says, these are the 1, 2, 3, 5 things that I feel like I can accomplish in this next week to 2 weeks, and this is what I want to focus my attention on, I may ask a follow-up question to how will they hold themselves accountable to that? And that question often shows up like, is there some character quality or value that might support you in following through on these actions? And I had a client a few weeks ago say to me, my stubbornness, I am a very stubborn person. When I put my mind to something, I do it. And I said, excellent. How do you leverage that stubbornness to follow through with this action? And she had a whole explanation of how she was going to do that. And because that was self-generated from inside of her and not me telling her what she needed to be doing, how do you think she did on her follow through with what she stated as her actions and her commitment level? She did her homework. So a big piece of this accountability, not following through, not taking action on our actions, this appearance of a lack of commitment or no desire to change, often is really wrapped into coaching presence and the questions that the coach asks and the drive when those choice points come up to talk about the insecurity or the weight loss, that we choose the situation and not the client's relationship to the situation. I hope that's useful. I hope that helps you coach with more ease and have less issues around accountability with your clients. And cheers. Always remember, sharing is caring. Please subscribe below. I'd love to have you follow. I plan on doing more of these videos, and I love hearing your comments, so please put those in the chat below also. Thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to sharing the next difficult coaching conversational techniques.